And so therefore, I heard someone say the other day, and this is philosophy as well, that, when someone does leave your life, when there is this so-called loss, it's actually making way for something better to come into that place. It's like a table and chairs. If you've got a table for 4 and there's 4 chairs there, you can't put a 5th or 6th one without being too squishy. So you take them out, you can put something new in there. Like same with your cupboard, your pantry. So in terms of what I'm hearing here is you understood that it was a toxic relationship. I will say this, that even though I don't classify myself in the least bit arrogant, I think that kind of air of confidence I have always held in my mind about the work that I do. And when I was in clinic and we used to do workshops and retreats, it's like, I was in my zone of genius. It wasn't always like that though, Aaron. It wasn't always like that. There was terrible moments of time as well. So when I entered, and I feel like it's relevant to share this with you, Sophie, when I entered into the online space, I went in there thinking, well, I did have an air of arrogance because I went, oh my gosh, this is going to be an absolute walk in the park. My name is Terri Messenger, and I am Hey, and welcome to Terri Messenger's Genius Zone. And, this is the place and the space where you are going to get your own free masterclass, absolutely free.
It is Genius Zone time here at Edge Radio Australia. Great to be here with the lovely Terri, who is our resident genius. And I know you wear that mantle so well. You really do.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. Did you feel any sarcasm in that? I don't know.
Just a little bit. Just a touch.
No, I am teasing. I actually really enjoy the fact that because when you first came up with the name and you said this to me, I thought, don't know. But
bit braggy.
Bit braggy, yeah.
Bit braggy,
you're such a meek-minded person, right?
Yeah.
So, but when I look at it now and the fact that you are actually saying awaken the genius in everybody, I get it. I get it. So it's kind of cool.
Actually, the genius zone doesn't come without the calamity. Without the weakness, without all the, stuff that puts people in the exact opposite of genius.
100%.
So puts them on the back foot, puts them in the weakness, like what we were just talking about backstage, where something in politics might be looking like the president is on the back foot, but is he?
In this particular case, absolutely not.
He's not.
Look, unfortunately, I guess politics is a game. Like everything in life is an element of gamemanship in all of this, I guess. And you might not like the way that things were done, but things are done for a reason, so.
Absolutely. And it's a bit of the bow and arrow effect. With the bow and arrow, you got to go right back and then whoosh.
I've never heard that saying before.
Yeah, actually one of my clients told me that one. Yeah, okay. I liked it, so I thought I'd mention it.
Definitely have that. Yeah. The bow and arrow effect for me is when I release it, it takes my ear with it. Yeah, just no good. No.
Not your hair?
No, not my hair. Actually, truth be told, the last time I used a bow and arrow, I did have hair, lots of it, in fact. So,
really?
But I do, and all
I
jokes
cannot
aside,
imagine you with hair.
Oh, I so can. I remember it well.
Goodness.
Yeah. I held on for a long time.
Because hair is so, it can change you.
It does.
One little thing can change you. Anthony Robbins says there's about that much difference between a woman who is butt ugly and badass beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's between the nose and the mouth. It's like apparently that part between your nose and your mouth, see how small it is, but that can be the difference of someone being, you know, apparently.
Well, if a woman, okay, it could be between being beautiful and being physically unattractive, especially if it's a woman and that's a mustache.
Oh, true.
That could be it.
But, you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be a profound thing.
No, not at all.
It can be a small tweak, and that small tweak, like remember the story I was saying about the convention centre, all the lights dimming and nothing working, all the music's gone off.
Yes, I do remember that.
And then they pay an electrician to come out, and the electrician took, 5 minutes, and then charged them $10,000, and they complained profusely. And, well, it was $1 for coming out and flicking the switch, but $9,000 for knowing which switch to flick.
Oh, your maths ain't great, but the story is good. I really like that. And you know what you were saying before about like the attractiveness thing and whatever. Work with me here a little bit. Is okay. Do you know what I have found over the? I'm going to even say the last few years of my life. I really noticed this is like true beauty. Obviously, you could be gorgeous to look at, but if your personality is ugly, you look ugly, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. But the X factor is actually something that comes from within. Yeah. You know, you could look like a supermodel, but I tell you, if you haven't got that last little piece of the puzzle, it's
And it's interesting too, because there's so many people that can walk around arrogantly and thinking that they're, you know, God's gift to women or God's gift to men.
Yep.
And they have not one bit of charisma.
No.
And yet the one that kind of has a little bit lacking in their self-esteem, like just a normal amount of self-doubt, have this incredible charisma. That's what they say, that magnetism.
That's a great thing. I think a little bit of self-doubt is really important, okay? Because, you know, I used to actually joke about the arrogant thing, right? Okay, like people would say, oh, like people used to call me arrogant, right? And I would correct them and say, no, the word is arrogant, right?
Arrogant.
Okay, right, yeah, look, I'm going to own it, right? Because I was, okay, but the truth is, and this is from my perspective anyway, back when I was racing, things like that, you have to be confident and you have to portray yourself as confident, right? You're bringing a lot of people with you, and you are, you know, you're the leader in this situation, and therefore you must give that, and when I say image, you must carry yourself with that. And a lot of people don't read that well, okay? It's not actually a negative thing. Sometimes it is. Some people take it too much, and you do need to ground yourself.
Yeah,
and definitely. I think the difference is exactly what you just said. You be confident, but have that just a little bit of self-doubt that's important. It's humility, right?
And I have to say too, because I am a great believer that you do have to have rock solid certainty. You know, the old saying about what Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, the man with the most certainty will win.
Right.
And, you know, so sometimes, and that's why, you know, you do have to have that level of definiteness of purpose.
Back yourself.
But not with everything.
Right.
Like you can walk into a room and own the stage or own the room because you know exactly what you're talking about or exactly what's what. And then it's like actors. I can't remember if it was Ben Stiller or one of those guys, and apparently they are so shy off stage without their script and they're awkward. So they have this awkwardness, but that awkwardness almost makes you, from where I'm standing anyway, makes them a bit more endearing. Like, so it's not like they've got it all together. They're not perfect in every way.
Yeah.
They have that air of confidence and power and certainty when they know what they know, and when they're in their zone of genius. But they're not arrogant in every sense of the word.
No,
they're still human.
Just exactly that. I think there's a misconception about, you know, that whole line between confidence and arrogance. I think it's something people need to understand. And also, whatever your job happens to be, or your passion, or your sport, or whatever, you got to turn life up to 11 a little bit sometimes, right? It doesn't mean you're fake. It just means you sometimes need to give that switch, that dial, just that little bit extra.
Dial it up.
Yeah.
Dial it up, which is going to be very relevant to some of the questions we've got.
Oh, look at you.
Here,
okay, you've gone low tech and high tech. I see you put them up on the screen. I'll pop those up in a moment.
Yes, yes.
And you've gone good old-fashioned paper.
Well, why not?
I like to call it the iPad from 1986. Yeah, that's what I like to call it.
You know, some things are good the old-fashioned way.
Oh, look, won't digress too much, but I was at a wedding on the weekend. Fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Great to see people you love, having that great celebration.
You were MC, weren't you?
I was MC, yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, love it, right? Great to be part
in
of
your genius zone.
In my genius zone, there we go. But on that point, as far as electronics versus paper, right? Now, as an MC, I make sure I print it. Because guess what? That paper is reliable and I can fold it to whatever size I need or whatever. Now, I watch so many people get up and go, and then they've got their speech on their phone or that kind of thing. And guess what? The phone goes black while they're talking, or they lose internet or whatever, these things.
Yes.
It's use the right tool for the job, right?
Yeah.
It always makes me laugh about something I've said before many, many times, but we overcomplicate things in life, don't we?
We do.
We really do.
Yeah.
And many years ago, back in the 50s, the Americans developed a pen, okay? Very important to invent a pen that would write in space. No, it would write in space because zero gravity, pens don't work, right? Okay, so it's an issue.
Not like Mr. Squiggle, the man from the moon?
No, very different, okay? Slightly different appendage. But this way, with this one, $50 million US in the 50s to develop a pen that works in space. Guess what the Russians did?
I have no idea.
They used a pencil. Sometimes use the right tool for the job, right?
Yes,
okay, don't overcomplicate life.
I reckon. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And there's certain times in our life as well where there's always going to be human error.
Yeah.
There's always going to be stuff that happens.
No doubt.
And there's certain times in your life when you just have to make sure that you've got other backups. so you're not completely falling down a great big hole. So
have a backup plan. Now, we've got, obviously, it's great to see people online watching away. And if you've got any comments or questions, please don't be shy. Jump in and do just that. But I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to bring up actually the first question of the day, if I may. Now, this, we'll make it nice and big so the blind old bugger in the back can actually read it. Okay, this is Michael from Texas in the USA. Oh, you lucky, lucky boy. What a great place to be. Now, he has put this little question forward to us is, I feel like I am living in a fishbowl year after year. I am in a great job, but I want to see a promotion. My issue is speaking up for myself. Any tips for me?
Ooh, okay. So first of all, is that a song? We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl.
Yes, year after year. Look at you go. Oh, now it's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. We are going to do karaoke. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So I hear you. I do hear you. So you feel, is that what you mean though, Michael? Do you feel like it's just you're repeating, it's just year after year? And you're kind of locked into that same old.
Sometimes life does feel like wash, rinse, repeat, right?
Yeah.
Like it does happen to us. So, no, I completely understand that. And the thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are any tips there that you might be able to do?
Okay, so first of all, there's a few things in this question. So firstly, you're in a great job. So congratulations.
Yeah.
And you feel that you want a promotion. So the question is, have you asked for one? That would be the first thing. And the second thing is that you are then saying that you have an issue speaking up for yourself. So my question is, what's the reason? Not why, but what is the reason that you do have reasons of feeling like you can't speak up for yourself? Like, what would be the worst thing that could happen if you did? Like, do you feel that if you spoke up for yourself that you would be rejected? Do you feel that, you'd be laughed at? Usually it's around rejection.
It's almost always about rejection.
It's almost like you're trying to protect yourself from what you perceive is going to happen. But
perception's one thing,
yeah,
right?
that's right. But perceive is really it. It's, you know, because it's not reality. They often say fear is false evidence appearing real.
Ah, I like
so
that.
Yeah, so if you can, you know, kind of dissect that a little bit and ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario that can happen if I do ask? I mean, are you going to get fired for asking the question? I don't think so, right? And it's interesting that sometimes, rather than just living in that fear and not really processing it, sometimes when you can, you know, dismantle it a little bit and pull it apart and look at, well, okay, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? Ask yourself that. What's the best thing that could happen?
What an important flip, honestly.
Yeah.
Why don't we do it? Why do we look for the worst case scenario? Why aren't we looking at, hang on, what can we gain out of this? What is the best possible thing that could happen?
That's right.
I love that. I love that.
It's more about what it does for Michael.
Right.
Because he's got this story going on that he probably doesn't even know about.
Yeah.
And he feels that there is something that is holding him back. But no matter whether it is that you're wanting to ask for a promotion or you're wanting to ask a girl out or whether you're wanting to sort of embark on something that's exciting and you want to do it, but you're sort of held back by fear. If you ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yep.
What's the best thing that can happen? And what's the most likeliest thing that will happen?
Look. The options are plenty there. I refer back to something I've used in many, many years of my life, and this works for me. It might not work for everybody else, but you know, here's my little theory on that, right? Okay. I used to say this, and I have lots of little phrases I tell my noggin about. Nobody ever spontaneously combusted because someone said no. You're not going to stand there and catch fire and disappear, right? Okay. Yeah. What is the worst thing that can happen? Well, do you know what? Someone can say no to you. So whether it's a job and asking for a raise, whether it's a pretty girl on the other side of the room in a bar or whatever.
No.
If she says no, do you
it
cease
could be
to
like,
exist?
You know that Truman Show? Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's really positive, and he goes up to this woman and he goes, what is the chances of you going out with me? And she goes, like about 0.5%, and he's running around going, yes, because he's looking at the 0.5%.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, of I mean that's completely left field right there.
No, but I get where you're going on that.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly agree with you. I think that as human beings with media, with culture, we're always taught to look at the worst scenario here, right? Well, what is the worst scenario? Someone says no. Look, you're working hard. You're obviously valuable to the company. You're probably worth a raise. And if you feel confident that you deserve a raise, whether it be money or a promotion in the department, whatever, and you feel it's difficult to speak up for yourself, I get it. We all get it because we do that to ourselves. But ultimately, if you can just literally get past that, really easy for me to say because I'm not you, but I have been you. And the way to get around it is to stick the chest out, walk up there, and also maybe have some pre-prepared answers. You know, okay, then they might want to say, ultimately they're going to say, okay, well, why should I give you a raise? And you can go, well, because revenue since I came here is up 18%, whatever happens to be, right? Okay, you are pre-prepared with the answers that will actually give that value. Now, it's a technique in sales, isn't it? It's about objections.
Can you remember the 3 truisms? Can you talk to Michael about that? Do you remember? Because
I don't.
What you have just brought up is exactly that. Because, like, if you are honestly, Aaron, if you did a certification in NLP, you know what you'd be saying every single day? You'd be going, I already knew that.
I already knew that.
I already knew that. And see, this is the thing. I already knew a lot of stuff, but it's different when it becomes conscious competency.
Gotcha.
And there is evidence to say this works.
Yep.
So what you're just saying is, you know, really doing your due diligence, looking at every, you know, aspect of what he's talking about, why he should ask for a promotion. Because in a way, you've got to sell yourself, don't you? I mean, you've got to sell yourself.
Sales. People don't want to be a salesman in life, right? Okay. People will say, I don't want to get involved in sales. life is sales.
Kids are salespeople. They're the best
salespeople.
Man,
ain't that truth? But everything in life is sales. Yeah. You go to a job interview, that you are selling yourself, okay? Again, that pretty girl on the other end of the bar, you are selling yourself. Yeah. Just about every opportunity. When you meet new friends, guess what? You're selling yourself. You're the product, okay? Yeah. So know the good things about the product. Yeah. Know the things, and also people like to talk about themselves. Yeah. So in this case, if you're talking to a boss and the boss cares about, obviously, the business, you tell them the benefits that you are bringing. Yeah. You paint that picture. That's the thing. And I know that the confidence to speak up for yourself is difficult, right? But, okay, here are the consequences of not. Okay, let's get the old scales out. If you don't, okay, you will start to resent the job. You will start to not actually enjoy the job or put in the effort that you used to, right? You will actually sabotage yourself, right? So get it out. Get it out.
Am I allowed to swear a little bit?
Knock yourself out. Go for it.
Dr. John D. Martini calls it the law of, wait for it, very technical here, the law of lesser pisses.
I like it.
Okay, so what's going to basically peeve you off the most? I won't go on about it again, but like what Aaron just said, if you end up living in resentment and regret because you didn't do anything about it versus that you do speak up for yourself, at least you made a stand. And I love everything you said, because just to bring conscious competency that you actually do know about these truisms, Aaron, and that is that, number one, you really have to know what you're talking about. Yeah. You really have to know what the business is about, what your boss values.
Be prepared.
And being very prepared. Yep. But then when it comes to going in with those three truisms, right? I'm just going to use this one as an example, Edge Radio, okay? Because it's relevant to you.
Good mob of people. I like them.
Yeah. So, you're actually on this radio station. Yep. Edge Radio, and quite often you are speaking and you find yourself in those presentation roles, and you've done radio before, even before Edge Radio. You happen to have a lot of support, and a lot of people are kind of rallying around you, and they're supporting Edge Radio because they really believe in it. And one of the biggest concepts of your vision is freedom of speech, and that's why I think you should give me $1 million.
Oh, wow. Now,
yeah, that was just radical. So the $1 million, let me just wipe that off the page. But what's happening, I'll just bring that into because you're looking at me like,
no, I get what you're doing. That was fantastic.
But see,
if I only had the $1 million.
But you've got to call it for what it is. You make a mistake, you lose.
Yep.
The moment you say something that is incorrect, you lose credibility in that person's subconscious mind. Okay. So by actually stating those, do I look like I'm going to pounce?
No. She's dangerous, very dangerous to do.
Sometimes. So by actually stating those three things, as long as they are cold, hard facts, that person is going, yes.
You're ticking away.
Will you? I really believe if you give me a promotion, I'm going to take your company to the next level. Yes. Do you see what I'm saying here?
100%. Yeah, you're taking someone up the staircase there, and you're painting the pictures of what they want to hear. Now that doesn't mean be disingenuous.
No. Got to be honest.
Be honest. Exactly right. Because exactly what you said, if you had lied as one of those things, if you'd said something, then you would have lost credibility.
Yeah.
But you pumped my tires up there. Okay. Probably a little bit too much. I'll take it. But while you've been pumping the tires, you are talking in facts, right? Okay. Nothing you said was dishonest.
Yeah.
Or untrue.
It was all, exactly.
The only one thing that was untrue is the $1 million that I have.
No, well, that's right. That's what I asked you for.
I know,
exactly.
That
was just a really radical
and that was a great way of doing it. Really, really true. Yeah. But I enjoyed the fact that you took me up that sort of staircase. Something also I wanted to mention too to Michael is this. Not that I want anybody to be in front of a lawyer because, it's never fun. Okay, if you're ever in front of a lawyer, okay, a lawyer will only ask you questions when they know the answer. They will simply not ask you unless they know the answer. So when you're going and you're speaking to your boss and you're saying about you like a promotion, okay, say factual information that you know is 100% right. When be ready for those objections and have those answers ready. And if you put it forward in a confident manner, don't be looking at your feet, okay? Don't be doing all of that. As I say, chest out, lots of eye contact, and away you go. I know these things aren't natural for a lot of people because, you know, like it is difficult. It is difficult to get up there and do that.
Yeah.
But it will bring so much improvement to your life. Not just talking about, okay, you make some more money or you get a promotion of something that you're more qualified for and you enjoy more. But the opposite, the flip is, if again, the resentment to yourself, and you are actually putting yourself back.
Yeah.
So by putting yourself in front of this person, turning yourself up to 11 for a little bit, all you're doing, quite frankly, is you're lifting your value. That's the ticket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just one more thing, which I'd be remiss not to mention this to Michael, and that is that really get yourself into that vision of why you want that promotion, because as you've heard me say maybe before, we don't ask why when it's a negative thing. So if someone's depressed, you don't ask them why. That would just be terrible. You go right down a rabbit hole and back to Buckingham, back to Timbuktu with them. But when it comes to you wanting that promotion, ask why and go through the 7 levels we taught on the show going back a couple of episodes ago. Even if you go back and watch it, you can always PM us, DM us, and we can give you the episode. We'll send you the URL.
Or contact Terri. Go to your website, go to your socials.
Just so I can give him the actual replay of that specific one, Edge Radio Australia. And really ask yourself why do you want that promotion? Because when you know your why and you're super clear on it, that's going to be very compelling. That energy is going to be very compelling when you are actually conveying what you want to your
energy
boss.
Is a massive thing. I thoroughly agree. And I think, you know, I will always come back to it because of, okay, you know, you said about the confidence thing, right? Okay, so, I mean, I have, and if I'm being very honest with the world, you know, there is a part of me which is, you know, insecure, right? Okay, I don't look in the mirror and see Brad Pitt, so I have that level of insecurity, right? Yeah. But, and I'm proud of this because this is how I've lived so much of my life. This is a big but, and I will not lie. I'm telling you right now, if I see someone across the room and that I'm single for argument's sake and I want to talk to them, I don't care if they are drop dead gorgeous, okay? I'm going to walk over and I'm going to introduce myself, or I will start a conversation, whatever. I will interact is what it comes down to, right? Yeah. Okay? And that has
you're not going to let them intimidate you by their beauty?
No, not at all.
Because you know what? So many of those good-looking girls are intimidated in themselves because nobody approaches them.
Yeah, this is the story we hear, and I think for me, it's empowering to me because it makes me feel more confident, makes me feel better about myself. By being able to do that. And the outcome has been in my life, I've been able to have wonderful experiences, have great relationships with fantastic people. The old story about you're shopping out of your neighbourhood and a girl being out of your
punching above the waist, or
punching above the weight, all of that. Well, quite frankly, I've been running into the ring like Mike Tyson for all my adult life.
Really?
I punch way above my weight. Absolutely.
I do need to say on that note, though, you do definitely. You can punch. You deserve to punch as high as you like, and I think that it would be very magnetic and very charismatic for you to go up to a girl and just start talking to her. That would be very impressive. She would put you up there because you are game enough to do that, where a lot of men might be like trying to play ducks and drakes or trying to play games.
Well, they're just afraid.
You know what I mean?
You know what? They're just there.
But you're being you. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just going to be me.
Even though we're not talking about relationships and we've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
We have.
Just saying.
But why I mention that is, and I get 100%, is because I'm trying to convey, and I hope I'm doing it accurately, to Michael that, okay, it's very much a similar kind of thing, right? This is a relationship you're building, okay? Whether it be a girl or a boss, okay, you're going there and you're saying to them, I am confident this is what I'm bringing. This is what I'm bringing to you. These are the benefits I'm bringing to your life, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's a pretty girl at a bar or a boss, I believe, maybe less flirting, but I think the principles are basically the same.
You're right. I absolutely 100%. People are people. Energy is energy.
Yeah.
And go in there and
go hard or go home, right?
That's it.
So I'm going to bring up our next question. This is from Sophie from Melbourne. Lovely to have you, Sophie. I don't think we've spoken before. Love to see you in there. And Melbourne, Australia, for those who are all around the world on the East Coast. Now, Sophie says, I've been working hard to grow my business online and struggling to attract the right clients. I should be further along than I am. Any ideas for me to succeed?
Oh, the story of many coaches, healers, and leaders' lives, namely myself.
Right.
And I will say this, that even though I don't classify myself in the least bit arrogant, I think that kind of air of confidence I have always held in my mind about the work that I do.
Okay.
And when I was in clinic and we used to do workshops and retreats, it's like, I was in my zone of genius. It wasn't always like that though, Aaron.
No,
it wasn't always like that. There was terrible moments of time as well. So when I entered, and I feel like it's relevant to share this with you, Sophie, when I entered into the online space, I went in there thinking, well, I did have an air of arrogance because I went, oh, my gosh, this is going to be an absolute walk in the park.
Right.
And boy, was I hit with a very hard knockdown.
Reality bites.
Because, especially, I don't know what the kind of coaching you do, Sophie, but most of the people that I'm attracting, they're quite gifted. They're spiritual. They're empathic. They're very much intuitive, and so they're tuned into other people, and they want to make an impact so they can pretty much really serve many people that have got a problem.
Yep.
But the fact is that in the online space, if you talk to everyone, you're talking to nobody. Yeah, so you have to know your people.
Yeah.
And this can be a really big trap because, when they talked about that, I know it's not a 5-letter word, but niche.
Yes.
I just went,
that was like a 5.
Yeah, I can't spell. No. Yeah, okay, it doesn't matter. But 5, niche was just so, it was repulsive. I found that so repulsive.
Okay.
And I think the biggest mistake I see in the online space is everyone says, I'm a confidence coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or I'm a trauma, I'm a trauma-informed coach, or I'm a this coach, or I'm that.
Labeling it.
No. It's who you're talking to. So, for example, if I'm really going to knuckle this down, I do feel that I can help people with, not because I'm any kind of guru, but because the work that I do, that I've been gifted with, does help make profound change. And that's because the person on the other side has it in them. So
you're the vessel, right?
Yeah, that's all. Just the vessel. But that brings out their genius. Yep. So what I recognized I could have quite easily said I was, specialized in trauma, specialized in this, specialized in that. But you know what? I had to look right across, and this is what I'm going to say to you, Sophie. I'm going to get you to write a letter to your client.
Okay.
But your client is going to be one person, and that one person is going to be the old version of you. And that person is going to be, so they're going to have those insecurities that they never ever share with anyone, not even their great grandmother.
We've all got them.
And what you're going to do is you're going to spill it out on paper, girlfriend, because you don't have to say it's about yourself, but you're writing it to your client, which is the old version of you before you were healed. Okay. You're actually talking about all of the insecurities, where they've been, what they went through, some of the things that they've encountered, where the carpet's been ripped from underneath them, how they've been walked over, downtrodden, how there's been certain elements of their life, like, you could relate to it in what way you've been through.
Yep.
And if you were to describe all of those things, and then you flip it over and you keep writing, and then you start talking about the dreams. Now, what were your dreams? So you know in your dream that you've always wanted to impact people. You always want to make people feel good about themselves. And you want to feel good about yourself as well. You want to be recognized. You want to be, you know, acknowledged. I'm just saying this, right? I know I'm looking at you, but you know what I mean? Like, you're talking to them like that secret version of your old self and talking about the secret dreams. And then you're going out there and saying, this is how it is. That's why when I bring people onto podcast, and we're going to have a couple of people come on the show. Yeah, it's going to be
very, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Got a spot there on the couch.
We're going to really be able to, you know, knuckle down, and that enables your client to go, oh my gosh, how does that person know that about me? That's exactly what I'm going through, you know.
Human experience, right? We've all got one. And tell you what, they cross over an awful lot.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You bang on. They're really good techniques. They're not something I actually would have naturally gone for. So, no, I like that. I think
this is for, you know, in terms of that coaching element. Also, you know, create and make sure, Sophie, that you've got an acquisition. A lot of the people training in the coaching space will teach you, oh no, you don't have to talk about whether you're a Reiki master or you're a shaman or, you know, you're an NLP or hypnotherapist or whatever you are, or an electrician or engineer. You don't have to say that. I say absolute rubbish.
Right.
I say you do have to say that. You do have to say, this is what I do and I can change your world, and this is how it changed my world, and this is how I can make a difference.
Because
for you
know
as
what?
Well.
If you're authentic, right, that's okay. You're going to talk about the things that are real, and then, you know, and the transparency is very, very important. I think anybody who's looked at NLP, you know, we've done it because we're trying to make improvements in our lives. We're trying to, you know, rewire things that may have been, you know, miswired in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's credibility in the journey.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And if you haven't had that journey, if it's been all smooth sailing, yeah, I would think, personally, me anyway, I would not be attracted to a healer, a person in the space of any description, if they hadn't had life with a bit of hard yards. Just, I'm not interested.
Absolutely.
I want people to be authentic. I want to see the warts and all about it. I think that's a big thing. And I would also put to Sophie that, like, you know, she said she's been working hard in the business online, and that really get that. Like, I'm a big believer in this. In fact, and I can actually genuinely say, it's successful if you are consistent and you are relentless about it, because if you build it, they will come. If you have quality and you believe in the product, so to speak, and in this case, you know, the product, I was about to say is you, but it's really not. The product is your clients, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the people in the lives you'll improve. So,
so true. And I mean, we've got our elections coming up and all that kind of jazz. And I mean, do you ever hear a Liberal talking about a Labor and banging on about promoting that? No. And the same vice versa. You're not going to get a Labor person that is speaking in terms of Liberal. So if you can, you know what you're offering and really don't be, because this is something that I find really a lot of people, and I fall into this category too. Okay. You get afraid of being boring, but in fact you won't, because people need to hear it over and over and over again. Like even on our show here, Aaron and I will quite often touch on a lot of subjects we've touched on, but, you know, in terms of what we're talking about here, for that person who really wants to learn about this stuff, you can never hear it enough.
100%. And also in this particular space, okay, this could be the very first time that you've ever seen this, or this could be someone who watches every single one of our shows. Yes, we do need to sometimes repeat this, because you've got to take into account new people are coming on board, and they might want this information. They might want to share this part of the journey. Yeah. So, and it's important also, as silly as it sounds, by repeating these things, you're defining and emphasizing habits.
You're becoming a thought leader.
Yeah, okay. That's another way.
Yeah,
definitely.
So thought leadership, and not everybody has that. They might have, Ian calls it philosophy.
Okay.
And he used to, I shouldn't go into that, but he says that some chiros will not have the philosophy. And then you'll have the chiros that do. And that's a lot about thought leadership, why they're doing what they're doing, what's behind it, and all that kind of jazz. So it also plays a really big part in branding.
Okay.
So if you're branding yourself, don't be shy of banging on about the same old thing over and over and over again, because it's what then people go, Aaron Malloy, oh yeah, the radio dude, he stands for freedom of speech. Yeah, he's really big on, the belief system of, all the things that you are, because you speak about it a lot. Don't be afraid to do so.
And I won't stop. Like, okay, you know what? Things don't need to be reinvented. Some things work and some things are integral to your integrity, right? Okay, so it's good to talk about them over and over again. If I walk into a pub and I order a beer, okay, I'm not going to say, can you put the head down the bottom, please, and put the rest of the beer on top, right? Okay, there's a reason why it works. It works,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
Okay?
Don't try and reinvent them. I like that.
Boom, it's really important.
You're getting good at these metaphors.
Oh, spent a lot of time with you. What can I say? No, we're very, very lucky. We really are. And and Terri, you really deserve a whole lot of credit here, because you bring something to Edge. Well, I mean, I'd never heard of NLP before, not at all. Right? Yeah, no, never heard of it.
That's awesome.
And I mean, like anything, I'll take some bits that I like, some bits I don't. I'll give those, I'll toss those. But if it's making me a better person, or actually, if it's making me understand me better, and it's making me be able to go, okay, now I understand me, I can now go forward as a better person. I can make the changes. If you're not aware of the changes, if you're not aware of the issues and the things that are holding you back, then you won't change them.
Exactly.
Right. So NLP, in my eyes, is really wonderful for that. So I hope that Sophie's got something out of there. I really definitely definitely want her to gain something from that, because just keep going, be consistent.
Write that letter.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love the letter idea.
Whoever it is. Myrtle.
Dear Myrtle. Okay, I've never met a Myrtle.
I'm just making that up.
I have met a dentist, though. Now, dentist from Perth, I don't know. Could this be a dentist? I don't know. G'day, mate. You're obviously a local. Drop by, say hello. Now, Dennis has actually said, my wife just left me, and oh dear, while I know it's a good, hang on, it's difficult to read. Let me just look at that again. My wife just left me, and while I know it is a good thing because it was a toxic relationship, okay, how can I move on and feel normal again? Mate, I'm really, really sorry to hear that, you've gone through that, but there is absolutely light at the end of the tunnel, because, as you said, it's a toxic relationship. Guess what? Sometimes things have to end, right? Okay? It's not till death do us part anymore. That is,
no, apparently not.
No, that's the real
soul
idea.
Contracts.
That's right. That person and their part in your life. Sometimes you can have the greatest relationship and it lasts 3 years. Yeah. Okay, or 6 months. Yep. Or 6 weeks, whatever.
It goes out with a big bang, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are your thoughts about moving forward, I guess?
Yeah, I'm not a relationship specifically, but the beliefs and values and, what's behind it, most definitely I can help with.
Okay.
And so, therefore, I heard someone say the other day, and this is philosophy as well, that, when someone does leave your life, when there is this so-called loss, it's actually making way for something better to come into that place.
Okay.
It's like a table and chairs.
Yep.
If you've got a table for 4 and there's 4 chairs there, you can't put a 5th or 6th one without being too squishy. So you take them out, you can put something new in there. Like same with your cupboard, your pantry. So in terms of what I'm hearing here is you understood that it was a toxic relationship. But from what you're writing here, you're sort of really doing the I guess the grieving process.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a grief process going on even though you knew it was a toxic relationship. And this is just a part of our brain where we go into that comfort zone of same old, and suddenly there's this big change that happens and we go, what's going on? So ask yourself the question, what did your previous wife bring to you? What was it that she taught you?
What lesson?
Yeah, because that's huge. Like, even if, I mean, come on, guys, you know how you hear these stories? Do you know how I know how you hear these stories? But about, you know, people who are together and then they break up and they hate each other's guts. And it turns into this great big slinging match, right? And, you know, the question that I have, remember once upon a time you actually did fall in love?
Yeah.
You know, and
it's very true.
You can't really insult your own taste of what you did actually fall in love with. So even if it became really toxic and things happen, you know, I don't know how some people may disagree with this, but in the spiritual realm, we call it a soul contract.
Yes.
So especially when people come into your life for a short time and then all of a sudden unannounced they're out, they're gone, and you feel like, oh my gosh, what just happened there? And it was always meant to happen. You know, never regret it. It was
regret it.
It was part of the whole journey. It was written in your DNA. It was like it was written in the clouds that you were going to meet with that person, Dennis. You were going to meet with that woman, and she had a very significant place in your life for you to learn something. And when you can, you know, learn and understand, you don't have to answer yourself straight away, but, you know, what can I take from this? What can I learn? What is it that she taught me? What's the lesson here? Because guess what? You've heard me say this again as well, but if you don't learn, if you just continue the wallowing process, which is, by the way, is very normal.
Of course it is.
And you go round and round and round until such a time that kind of time distances a little bit and then somebody else comes along. Guess what? You reattract the same lesson.
You absolutely do. Look, I could go on about this subject for hours, but I'll actually hold back on this one. But I want to just give a few little bits of advice if I may to Dennis. Dennis, I don't know if you're aware, but I've certainly been through this this path myself, and I speak to many men specifically, and occasionally women who are going through this on basically every single week, a multitude of them. So a lot of people contact me because of all sorts of issues that have come out of toxic relationships. Now, you've identified the relationship as being exactly that, toxic. I, again, have been in this situation myself, very, very toxic relationship, somebody who put me down constantly and really beat my self-esteem with a stick. Not in public. Always.
Sometimes it's worse.
Yeah, it is worse, because what they'll do is they'll pump your tires up a little bit in public. But there'll be some little side stabs and bits and pieces. But where they can't be seen, they are incredibly horrible and toxic, and they drag you down. And it's actually a control mechanism. People do it to control their partner. It's disgraceful.
It's very narcissistic, really.
Very much so. Very much so. Now, okay, here's the thing, though. Thank you for doing that to me. Thank you for doing that to me, because you taught me a lesson. You taught me that the problem that I've had all my life and my bad relationships and my bad choices have been because I did not set boundaries. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, before this person who was doing those things, what I'd do is she would start doing these and she would boil the frog slowly. She introduced this in incremental amounts, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd do that. And
so you wouldn't notice.
Yeah, I didn't notice. And then I realised, hang on, you're taking away almost all my friends. You've alienated me from my family. You've done all of these things, right?
Wow.
And here I am, okay? So it's happened over a period. But guess what? I opened the door because I didn't early on, when there were signs of that. I didn't go, hang on, here's my boundary, right? No. You're not allowed to alienate me from my friends. You're not allowed to take away my friends and family. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to use my children as pawns against me. You know, like my beautiful kids from a previous marriage. You know, she used those against me. Okay. Now, I didn't see it happening, and with greater clarity of life, I actually completely understand what was taking place. But I'm also annoyed at myself because I didn't stop it, didn't put those boundaries in place. So I thank you for the fact is, you know, a 9-year relationship and had, you know, beautiful kids and all of that. It's a very long time. Yeah, very long time to be.
It's a big piece of your life, almost 100%. A decade.
Yeah. Now, but I thank you for teaching me, because I'll never do that again. I will now know that, I'm sorry, when I see things going awry, I will now draw that line and say, no, you don't pass it. Now, I don't know if that's Dennis's situation. I would assume there's a lot of similarities there.
I bet there is. That's usually how it goes. Yeah.
And as far as how do you feel, look, how do I move on and feel normal again? Now, I used to give the worst advice on this. I used to say the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else, okay? Okay.
Or somebody else, okay.
Yes, right? My old attitude was go find someone new, right? Even if it's just a fling, whatever, because the endorphins are flowing and it's feeling good and you don't feel the pain. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. It's dumb advice.
Yeah.
Guess the best thing you can do is spend some time on your own and have clarity.
Marry yourself.
Yes. Have wonderful friends around. Make sure your friends, your family, your support systems are there, but don't be going and trying to fill that space in the bed. Okay? Spend some time on you.
Yes.
And that time will give you clarity. The best thing I ever did for myself was I went, right, because I did a few little bouncy relationships, not going to carry on after my marriage had exploded. I was going to say dissolved. Didn't. Massive explosion.
Exploded.
It was, it was.
Better to burn out than fade away?
Oh, it was Hiroshima, right? And the fallout is still coming, right? All these years later. So effectively in my life, that's 18 years of my life invested, because it's 9 years since this person, right? So it's 18 years, big chunk. Yeah. So you go, okay, we do all of that. It's by taking a year off and saying, I'm just going to be me, I'm going to invest in me, and I'm not in a like I'm not going to go out and buy a sports car or those kind of invest in me. I'm just not going to find that I need to fill that space in the bed. I need to fill that. I just don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Just be me. Best thing I ever did. Absolute best thing I did, because after a year I went, oh, how good do I feel? How free do I feel? Like, okay, so that moving on is done.
So your next person is not going to marry your last person.
Spot on. Now, I met someone and spent years with them after this, and I've just ended a relationship a few months ago, and I still very much, I care about that girl very, very much. I think the world of her. I would even go as far as say I still love her, right? Okay. Our lives will go in different directions.
Yeah.
I don't want negativity. I don't want, like, it doesn't have to burn. There doesn't have to be Hiroshima. You can actually go, move on, give that person a kiss and a cuddle and say, love you very much. You need to go on your path. I need to go on mine. Yeah. They're in different directions, but I will always have your back. I will always support you. If you need someone, if you want to call me in the middle of the night, if you need to be picked up here, there, I will do it. I will do it for her, right?
Yeah.
Because I will always care very deeply, because the love didn't burn out. It just, life changed.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So that's an important thing to do. So, feeling normal again, surround yourself with wonderful, positive people.
Yeah.
The dwelling and the negative stuff, keep away from the booze, keep away from the drugs. I'm not saying be a teetotaler. I'm just saying don't self-medicate. So many of the guys and girls I talk to self-medicate, and it's not helpful. Right, it drags you down.
Stay in control. And what I love about what Aaron has just said to you, Dennis, is really about understanding and being grateful and thankful for what that person did bring into your life. And once you can really understand what it is and what place they played for you and what you learned, be grateful for it. And, you know, start saying affirmations once you're on the other side of that. You know, I am strong and I am attractive to exactly the right person. The right person is coming into my space.
Yep.
And don't be in a hurry, like Aaron said. Do not be in a hurry, because I think it's about really building yourself from the ground up, so that the next person coming along is discovering you, not your past.
Yep.
And, you know, and really have yourself firmly planted. And and just be kind to yourself.
Love that. Love that. All right, we need to end the show because, as normal, we've gone over time. Pretty much standard for us. That's what we do. Look, if you want to get in touch with Terri, and I really would strongly recommend you do. I think you do wonderful work.
Thank you.
You know, you wouldn't be sitting here unless I 100% believe in you, and I really do. And I've seen you changing lives. We've had people who've done events in here at Edge, and just seeing the influence and the positive changes that you've been able to bring to people's lives. Yeah, I'm big fan. So definitely get on board. How can these people contact you?
Okay. Well, you know, social media.
Yep.
You know, Instagram, Facebook, DM me. TerriMessenger.com is my website. And book a call in or DM me and let's connect. It doesn't have to cost you anything for that specific reach out. It may be just you have a question for me. You want to have a look at how we can map out where you are, where you've come from, and where you want to go.
Love it. Love it. And, of course, I've got to do the YouTube thing, okay? Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all of that. But, honestly, it makes a big difference. Here at Edge, we don't play the algorithm game. So, if you can do that. And the main thing for it is, this is what I want to do. I want to reach as many people as possible. I want to reach people who actually might, if people find this valuable, if you're watching this and you found something we've said valuable, then why not share it with somebody you care about, right?
Very good point.
Yep. All right. That is us. Thank you very, very, very much for being part of the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia.